We are live. Hello,
Woo!
hello, hello, everybody. I hope you're doing great tonight.
Cheers!
Cheers. You know, I need Red Stripe to like monetize my channel because I have.
Amen, sister. Take
They
us to
paid
Jamaica.
They paid for Robert's band, reggae band, Air Jamaica did to perform some stuff in Jamaica. So we have Miss Moni G tonight. Lori might be coming in. School started back, so things, I've been a little crazy for her, and I know Miss Duncan The Tall too. I'm glad I don't have a kid in K through 12 right now.
Amen.
I can tell you that.
Hey, hello to House Sanchez and Robbie Warburg.
Hey, Robbie.
Hello, hello. And Maud Mary. Hello, hello. And of course, Mrs. Duncan The Tall. Love you. Miss you. And good luck on your school adventures as well. To all you parents wearing multi-hats, like you didn't have enough hats as it was. Put on one more.
Did you say Maud Mary? Okay. So we have a question at the beginning. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Glendon Hall. I think at first he acted like a turd, but that was just his way of protecting himself from the ridicule and all of that kind of stuff. But I see that he's a good kid and he's got some cojones and he's not able to be paid off, so he has some honor. And
I know that was like,
I just like him.
Yeah, it ended up. I like him. I too like him better after this story. I wasn't as keen on him earlier in this little story that we're walking through, and this is like our almost our last week because we're gonna do a little quiz show, which I'm kind of excited about. Which I'm
not gonna be like Citadel trivia or anything. I haven't learned how to stream on OBS, but I have.
Oh gosh, no, we're not. It's not going to be professional like that. No, it's just going to be something fun. So it might just be us asking each other's questions. I don't know. Hopefully you guys come and you'll play with us, but otherwise,
folks in here will be like, now it's stuck in his head. Yeah, I was probably 13 when I saw the outfield. I was walking with my parents. We were at Six Flags, and I was like, "Oh my god!" They're laying they're like in the chairs by the pool. It was crazy. So I guess
you saw them play at Six Flags?
I think they were playing at Six Flags, and we stayed at a hotel next to Six Flags. Like, I mean, we don't live far from Six Flags, but it was just an Atlanta trip. Runner gets 1 million. If I had 1 million, honey, the prize would be 1 million.
But 1 million what, Robbie? 1 million?
$1.
Did he? He said dollars. I didn't.
Pez dispensers, because I collect those. Not 1 million. I'm kidding. But last week we got to about 2 hours, and it was the part. Dunk is in the Fiddler's tent with Peak, and I stood up after I went back and watched it and was saying that Peak thinks Bloodraven will just go away if he sees defeat, but it was Bloodraven's men. So anyway, now Dunk has thought to himself, he thought to himself that he had delivered. He's a full hedge knight that delivered Maker's favorite son into the hands of his enemies. Now, to the part, I'm pretty sure where we stopped is John the Fiddler and Sir Galtry the Green got their lances, and it's time for them to joust. And I'm, it's just been one of those kind of days, but I just noticed that like there's a storm going on and they keep talking about storms.
Right.
So one of the things, and you know how George always drops stuff in there, the mullet thing, the gold inlay, like, and he has the green beard, but it says there's 9 jade mullets. So I was like, okay, what's the mullet? And it said a fish or a star, and then obviously a haircut too. That wasn't in the definitions, but and then it said they ran 9 times back and forth with each other. So he likes just throws little stuff in like that. Winner gets a dragon egg. I can definitely paint one of those. So it has started raining, and the fiddler's being himself, well struck, you almost had me down, sir. And it was the last run. He knocked him from into the mud, so there's a lot of mud, and the east dunk saw a flash of distant lightning. And about this time, people are running from the stands, the viewing stands, and to get shelter from the storm. That's some song too, or something similar. And here comes little creepy Alan Cockshaw. See how they run. A few drops of rain, and all the bold lords go squealing for shelter. What will they do when the real storm breaks, I wonder? And Dunk thinks to himself, the real storm. What does this guy want? Is he suddenly trying to be my friend? And at this point, Dunk has been like starting to figure stuff out a little bit, but this is kind of the moment, I think, where it's like, okay, I got this. Like, especially what's going on with the tournament, because when it's Uthor Underleaf and they match him with Tom Heddle, they don't know that Uther does not mean to win. And when I thought about that too, with the jousting prize being 30 dragons to the loser, that ensures that somebody will lose. And another way to try to ensure John, or Damon, I should just say, getting this egg that he dreamed that was going to hatch. And when about the time he realizes this, if they think Uthor is trying to win, they really didn't pick the right person, and it leaves only one other one. And as soon as he thinks that, Pete comes up and, we are betrayed. Bloodraven has a spy. The dragon's egg is stolen. And John the Fiddler, Damon, he has no clue.
Sorry, I get so excited.
What's going on with all of this stuff. He really, really doesn't.
No.
I guess pretend whatever your question is, throw it in there, Sanchez. Be fine with me.
Yeah, Sanchez, bring it.
So yeah, when he finds out the egg's stolen, John the Fiddler's like, my egg? How's that possible? A little Butterworth keeps it guarded night and day. And Peak says that those guys were killed, but one man named his killer before he died, and Dunk actually thinks that they're going to accuse him. I mean, like, what a terrifying feeling, because he had touched the egg the night before. What happened?
I just zipped out. I don't know what that means. Did you notice anything? My visual just went out for a second.
Wait, are we still live, y'all? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, and it looks like we're still live, but I don't know if we actually are. And I'm afraid to look, because I already told you my computer was being fussy earlier today.
Oh, okay. He hears.
Okay, David hears.
OTDA. Thank you. Oh, and I thank you. I'm wearing my signed Chris Davis hat.
Ooh.
I was so excited to get this autograph. And I put it on Instagram, and I tagged OTD and A in there. I don't know how much he likes college sports, but
he likes sports.
That game was that college football play is probably the most famous one of the most famous ones ever. So I was at the game, and he's coaching right down the street from me. If y'all didn't know, okay, here's Sanchi's question. The outcome of the Dance of the Dragons. See, I haven't read about the greens and the blacks. But
Sanchi, that is a question that I struggle with, because I like to think of myself as a rebel because I'm a huge Star Wars fan, right? But then again, that's why I was with this story. It was just like, but I do kind of understand these rebels because of the whole sword thing. Because I kind of think like that is what the kingdom passes on with. So when the father passed that to, so be it, if that's the son who was a book, you know, better at the sword or reads. I mean, if he wanted the kingdom to go to the guy who read the books, so what if you give him a sword? I get the justification that Egg tells us. Well, why would you give it to somebody who's not good with the swords? But I tend to look at that tradition. So gosh, I sometimes that I think, well, so am I a loyalist? I don't know.
I think I'm more of a loyalist. I really, I think I lean more that way.
I was definitely more rebel in this story, because I was up till this story at the very end. At the very end, I was anti Bloodraven. I was like, don't trust him. Think he's super sneaky, up to no good. Wasn't really sure what his intentions were. So yeah, I don't know.
I would say if I have it right, I would be the blacks.
Okay, yeah, because well,
I know it's the dress.
Yes,
but I might have that backwards, House Sanchez. I'm trying to read through Fire.
I don't know which one.
I'll be caught up with you guys soon. With you,
which one wore the dress, or the green dress? Was it the queen or the princess?
Come on, see somebody.
But I mean, I tend to be camp princess there, and not camp queen in that sense. So
okay,
you tell me, Sanchi, am I
would say
rebel or loyalist? I don't know.
That's the queen that tried to put her sons in power, and
yes, and after the king died, she didn't ring the bell, and the princess was in labor, and so she didn't get to fly there on her dragons, and then she already anointed her son, and Coronation Day. Different Disney movie, but
Maud Mary would be on the side of the realm's delight.
Oh, I like that. I like delight in the realm too. Nice, Maud Mary. Like it.
Let's see what Cece said. All the mess started pre-Jaehaerys. Should have been crowned. Then her kids being ignored, going all the way. All right, well, I'm
sorry. We totally need like face-to-face talk. If we have to tape it to get a discussion with you, Mrs. Duncan the Tall, so be it. But you shall be. We're gonna do like interviews. Interviews with Mrs. Duncan the Tall, and maybe we'll just like talk Targaryens and history, because that girl knows it.
I do want to do a Bloodraven like chat about this, like after the stuff I saw today about him.
I know, I'm dying to find out about that,
and just like different fan theories and stuff.
Okay, so I have a question for our friends, or like if somebody so are you guys pro Bloodraven or anti Bloodraven at this point in our saga, or what you know of him? Carrie said today in her like digging deep, she kind of tumbled into some, because I am struggling with the whole theory that Maynard Plum is Bloodraven. And this last part of the story also is very telling. I still struggle with it. So I'm excited to hear all these different
me too
takes on it.
No, it's not the end of Tuesday Night Fun. We will be something.
No, Robbie, we'll be here.
Sanchez is up in the air too, and I actually was like, "Is Maynard Plum Bloodraven?" Like, typed that in, Googled it just to see what came up, and I didn't really get any concrete anything. And I have heard, and this is something we were talking about, that Maynard, like, and Bloodraven, they like do a sign to each other, 2 fingers or whatever, and that's in the graphic novel. Now, I went on my Kindle. I don't want to just buy the Kindle version. I want the actual one I can hold in my hand. So I downloaded a sample, and it was just the first like few bits of it. And Maynard isn't even in the first part, like he is in the book. So I don't know when he shows up in the graphic novel. So I haven't actually seen that. I don't know about that, about how that was written. But that was something I think probably CC brought up, or maybe Lori.
Were the graphic novels the 3 separate stories, or are they in one book as well?
You can get them in one book or 3 separate. And I have the first 2. I just don't have the last one.
Okay, cool.
We love you too, CC. You little rebel, you. So of course, let's see. Galtree loses. You know, I've had kind of a bad day today, guys. So I'm sorry if I'm a little off. I fell asleep in glasses, and I don't know if people with glasses do that, but I must have slept like right there because it feels bruised.
Ow! Like, well, these are my readers, which I need more now. But yeah, I can't imagine that. So, ouch!
I must have like slept just like that.
All I was thinking was, I guess, better than soup. So, but still, that's gotta be painful.
Oh, Robbie's so sweet. So, they come after ball.
Alan
son
like
sees him. And
they're going after ball first, right?
Yeah, Dunk thinks back to to Ashford Meadow and how that happened to him, and that Ball is quicker than he would have imagined. Trying to pull a sword, but they just, so many of them jump on him at one time. He really doesn't stand a chance. And Dunk feels helpless. And then Cockshaw pulls him back. Stay out of this if you want to find
well, he's about to, like, finally
yours.
he's about to maybe go help, because it's just like, whatever, I'm gonna throw it at this guy. I just 2 seconds before, he just kind of said, well, you got one friend in me, like, kind of, and then so then he goes, but then Sir Alan grabs him by the and like leans in and says, you know, don't go there, follow me if you want to see your squire again. Of course, Dunk like freaks out, like, it's like, huh? So obviously he's gotta find out, what do you mean? Where know where Egg is?
And it actually, you know, it says Dunk's in no mood for games at this point. He's been looking for, you know, Egg and can't find him, and is worried, and everything's coming together now. All of the this guy and that guy, and for Duncan, and, you know, for the way the story's written too. So he watches at the far end when Glendon's yanked around, and then Tom Heddle punches him with his cat lobster fist gauntlet, and he's like, Ball is like, why would I steal the egg? I was about to win it. And Dunk thinks, and that they could not allow. We'll find the dragon's egg wrapped up and hidden, I'll wager. And Alan Cockshaw, of course they will, come with me if you want to find your squire. No better time than now while they're occupied. And he didn't wait for a reply. So he just takes off walking. And then it talks about Dunk takes like 3 strides to catch up with this guy. And he's noticed
I'm falling behind on my pictures.
Oh, yes, you are. As they're walking, it's closed in places. The shutters are shut on people's homes. It's a dark, lonely place, and they're staying kind of cloaked in the shadows. And he sees that well in the center of the courtyard. And as they keep on walking, he like fumbles for his sword belt just out of habit. And as soon as he does that, Alan, you know, Cockshaw, you know, pokes the dagger in his back and turn on me, I'll cut your kidney out and give it to Butterwell's cooks to fry up for the feast.
Ooh, little callback to Frey Pie.
Yeah, and he's over to the well, no sudden moves. And Dunk thinks he's thrown Egg down the well, and he'll need more than that little toy knife to save him. And it says his anger is just growing and growing and growing. And Alan Cockshaw, I know Dunk has not showed any prowess as like far as jousting, but he's like taking on a huge guy with a little knife, and he's like he's gonna lose this fight. Like, you know,
well, but I like that though. He just keeps telling me, like, back up,
yeah.
And like, and he's like, oh, what, you're afraid of a little bath? And he's just like, I can't swim. And he's like,
and Dunk's trying to be so diplomatic. Wait a minute. See, he does that walking up. Yeah, I remember that. So okay. Asks, is this about the dragon's egg? No, this is about the dragon. Did you think I would stand by and let you steal him?
Oh.
No, I should have known better than to trust that wretched snail to kill you. So, dun dun dun. He was the one that pays
reveal
Uthor Underleaf. And Dunk's like, oh my God, this plump, pasty-faced, perfumed lordling is my secret enemy. And he doesn't know whether to laugh or cry.
Yeah, that is kind of funny. Sorry, Dunk.
And he said, well, Uther earned his gold. I have a hard head after all. Yeah, big steps for real. I'd be running to catch up with Dunk.
Like in
CSI White Walls. There you go.
It's no ticky backsies is what Dunk is telling him. Hey, don't go get your gold back. I just have a hard head.
Yeah.
So he didn't kill me.
You know, step back, one more step, one back, and he's flush up against the well, and he puts his hand down and feels that a rock is a little bit loose. And Cockshaw makes him sit down on the rim. And like you said, not afraid of a little bath, and you can't get much wetter than you are right now. And Dunk's like, I can't swim. Oh, what a shame. He's, you know, Dunk trying to be diplomatic and like, I'm not out to hurt you. I don't care about Daemon. I don't care about the King's Guard. I don't care about any of that stuff. And Dunk brings up Daemon Blackfyre sired seven sons. 2 died upon the red grass field, the twins. And then Alan Cockshaw goes into what bullies they were, just like Dunk. Like, Dunk hadn't been a bully to him. And treat him like they did. Tormenting him and Daemon, and he cried when Bittersteel carried Daemon off, and then again when Lord Peak told me he was coming home. So you can just imagine the excitement. Hey, Fearless Mermaid, imagine the excitement Alan was feeling at seeing, you know, his old friend again and lover, possibly. Probably by that point, I would think. And he sees Dunk on the road and forgets that Alan even exists. And through the story, he's made those jabs at him about not eating so much and whining and pouting. And
just when he just got knocked off of his horse, he said, oh, he fell on his fat little bum. And then he doesn't let him go in. To get, you've had enough olives. Or, oh, I'm sorry, I think that's coming up.
No, it already happened.
Oh, did it already happen? Yeah, because he's like, you've had enough olives. It's like, oh, so he's still hurt. Like, nobody likes to hear about their fat bum and that they can't have any wine or olives.
Glendon Ball knocked him on his butt in the joust. Alan Cockshaw.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's that's. They're all kind of like.
Hold on one sec. I was gonna pull that down for a second. Okay. So I did that page. Sorry, guys. You can go in the water, and you can go in bleeding. And Dunk closes his hand around the stone, and before he could wrench it free, Alan lunges, and if Dunk twists sideways, and he gets his left arm, it doesn't really ever say how deep a gash it is, but he grabs that rock. Finally, it comes loose and fed it to his lordship. Felt his teeth crack beneath the blow. The well is it, and he keeps hitting him again and again, and then he drops it, grabs him by the wrist, twists his butt around, and bone snaps. I can imagine. I don't even know which one it would be, and like I imagine him turning to the side like this and taking his foot and just bump, just kicking his ass right in there.
Yep.
And here we have Maynard Plum showing up.
Yep.
So he's hiding there in the shadows, watching all of this. And the first thing, he says, "Well done, sir." And Dunk whirls around, and all he can make out is a hooded shape and a pale single white eye. So that was one of the things we were talking about.
Okay.
Isn't it Blood Raven? And then as he comes out, he recognizes that it's Plum and that eye is his moonstone brooch. So why do you think he was there, Monica?
Oh, I definitely think he was seeing what happened. Like, I think he was just like waiting to see what happened between the two of them.
Yeah.
Like, because right now, like I said, I truly think he's a spy for Blood Raven. Don't get me wrong. Like, no doubt in my mind about that. So yeah, I think he's just like,
how does
waiting to see what happens.
Well, we can get to that eventually, but how does he recognize how does he know who Egg is, though? If he's just a Blood Raven spy.
Who? Maynard Plum?
Yeah.
I think that people could figure that out. Like, if I think like it was like, yeah, a couple years ago, but if he's real tight with the hand, I think that he would, like, I don't know, like he has 1,000 eyes in one. Like, I just think he's got a lot of spies. I also think that he's a sorcerer and he like goes in animals and mist and stuff like that. But yeah, I just think that Maynard is a spy at this point. Like, I can't, like, why is he there? To see like what happens between the two of them. Like, he's spying. That's what he's doing. He's spying.
Oh, how Sanchez does he think he knew the outcome of the fight? That's interesting.
Oh, so yeah. So Sanchez, you are how Maynard Plum is.
He's there to help Dunk, to help mend his arm and get him to Aegon and all of that stuff, to Egg. Dunk's like, he tried to kill me, and that he doesn't even realize that he's bleeding, and it just kind of like tickles me a little bit, because he falls, and he's such a big guy, and it must be a pretty damn bad wound, but
yeah, and if it's a sharp enough blade, I don't think you realize just how bad you're cut sometimes, like, until you mess with it, until you try to do something actually with that arm. Like, for example, when he starts getting beaten in the next scene coming up, where that arm gets whacked a couple times, it's like, ow. So yeah, he all of a sudden he's feeling lightheaded. So he's I think it was a good cut. I think it was,
yeah.
So they're so they're what? Yeah, that him. So the next thing you know, help me.
He was whimpering from the well, and
murder! Somebody help me!
Yeah, and he's worried. Dunk's worried he's gonna drown, and Maynard says he won't be missed, least of all by the fiddler. And Dunk says he's not a fiddler. I mean, he is a fiddler, but you know what he's trying to say. And Maynard Plum's like, no, he's Daemon of House Blackfyre, the second of his name, or so he would style himself if he ever achieves the Iron Throne. See, this kind of like proper speaking, that's what leans me more toward is Blood Raven. But anyway, you would be surprised to know how many lords prefer their kings brave and stupid. Daemon is young and dashing and looks good on a horse. And then the next part, when Dunk asks, like, shouldn't we throw him a rope? And he says, save him now to execute him later. I think not. So how does he, like, and it could go both ways. But that you asked me about things that I noticed.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing them out there for you.
Nope.
my little nuggets. And I'm not saying I'm right either, because I haven't seen the graphic novel, and I'm just going by, what they say in here, and the way George likes to throw these things. It could be one of those things we never find out, like Tyrion, if he's Targaryen kind of thing. He might not have ever decided which way he went with this, or was gonna go with this. But I definitely think he had the means. And anyway, he says, I did urge you to flee, but you esteemed your honor more than your life. An honorable death is well and good, but if the life at stake is not your own, what then? Would your answer be the same? And then Dunk's like, oh, Egg, you mean Egg? Where is he? And he says he's with the gods, and I think you know why. And Dunk realizes, he groans, and he's like, oh God, he tried to use the boot. He knew. And this guy says, so I surmise he showed the ring to the maester, who delivered him to Butterwell, who no doubt pissed his breeches at the sight of it and started wondering if he'd chosen the wrong side, and how much Bloodraven knows about this conspiracy. The answer to that last one is quite a lot, and he chuckles.
Yes, but I love quite a lot. And then he's, who are you? A friend. And that just reminded me of Lord of the Rings, like when Gandalf is going into the riddle.
Yeah.
Of like, say friend and elfish and pass and say friend. Yeah. So it's like, oh, I'm a friend. Like, so I know more mystery, but like I said, he could have very well said, I'm a spy of Bloodraven, but
well, one guy does, like, acting all like, oh, I'm gonna get a reward, and then he doesn't last long.
Yeah, whoopsie.
If Egg is dead and
but I wonder, did they kill him because he really was a spy and he was popping off about it?
Maybe.
Because that's what you do to spies that pop off, even if they're like working for you.
The Verwells, and when I looked up Lady Verwell and like about her crying earlier in the story, that was the part that came up, was that one of Verwell's men-at-arms or whatever, I don't know if it's his, we'll have to get to that part, but were involved in killing a guy that said he was a Bloodraven spy.
Right.
I don't know if he was with the Verwells or the Cockshaws or Costains, or
I just think
Costains. I think
that also is like a little nugget that George throws in as well, though. Like, it's just like, we don't hear a lot about Bloodraven spies, because if they talk, so just, I mean, there's, I don't know, like, and we know that glamoring is real, so
yes,
I'm not,
and that part,
I just haven't got that. And I get the whole with the moonstone, everything, but still.
How did we skip that part? Plum guides him across the yard. There was something queer about the cast of Sir Maynard's features. The longer Dunk looked, the less he seemed to see.
But also remember, at this point, he's losing a lot of blood.
I know. Just throwing that in there, it thinks Melisandre and all of that just like goes off in my head.
I know, and I get that too, but
and even more so than glamoring, I see it more like as a possible faceless men thing, because when you do the faceless men stuff, like Arya does, you actually take on the physical appearance of that person.
Now that I can buy into better.
Definitely, than glamoring.
Like, because I just wasn't feeling the glamoring part.
Because remember the part when Arya puts on the girl's face that had been beaten or whatever?
Mercy.
And she I don't know if that is Mercy.
Mercy? I don't know.
It's a girl that's like kind of deformed and has a hard time walking because of being beaten and bones broken. And when she first they put the mask on, she like can see like the memories of this girl. So not.
Been so long. I need to read those books.
It's not like taking over someone, like glamoring someone's body when that person is still in the body.
Right, right.
So,
yeah, that's cool.
Laurie, the sitter has. Oh, hey, Laurie. I'm down here. Sorry, I couldn't. Yeah, parental duties. I hear you. The little ugly girl. Yeah. You got it, House Sanchi.
Oh, the little ugly girl. Yeah.
And you have been made brighter by your presence, Cece says to Laurie.
Cheers. Yay. Hello. Hello, Steel510 Rain. That was pretty smooth.
Well, I'm glad you got to come, honey. So
we're talking what we always talk.
Yeah.
Is Maynard. Who is Maynard Plum?
And he says, a friend, one who has been watching you and wondering at your presence in this nest of adders. Now be quiet until we get you mended. So he says it's clean cut. I had totally forgotten. Clean cut, and it's not your sword arm. So he's taken off the blood-soaked shirt. Appears to have missed the bone, but still needs to be washed out, or you could lose the arm. And Dunk's like, it doesn't matter if Egg is dead. And Maynard's like, yeah, it's your fault. You should have kept him away from here. I never said he was dead, though. I said he was with the gods. And do you have clean silk? And then I was like heartbroken when Dunk, and so is Dunk when he's tearing up his Dornish tunic, because now there is no more, there's nothing left with the elm tree and the shooting star on it.
I know, that's it.
Poor guy.
Funny.
Oh, Laurie put a number on it. 85% convinced that it's Blood Raven.
Oh, you are you? But not glamored. Do you think he's a faceless man? Because that I can accept a little better. But
the first Ambrose Butterwell, as he's mending his arm.
Okay, just side note, because I meant to Google it and I never got to it. Sorry. Does anybody else? Can you guys think of another character that's Ambrose in another story? Any story? It's just like, I love that name, and I know it's because of a character somewhere, a beloved character. Anyways, no, not familiar to you.
No, it is. But I can't
think of anything.
Ambrose.
Okay,
no,
just wondering.
My head at some point. That's
I'm
usually
throwing it out there, friends.
On the tip of my tongue, and then I'll sit there and like blah, you know.
Right, exactly. I'm putting it in the tumbler, friends. I'm putting it in the tumbler. Kick it around.
So then Maynard's talking about Butterwell and never been very decisive. He already had doubts about this from the beginning. Doubts that were inflamed when he learned that the boy did not bear the sword. And then his dragon egg vanishes, and so did the last of like what little courage this guy has. Because he didn't in the first rebellion. He had one son on one side, one son on the other. So he's always, trying to play the middle and not get in trouble, even though he does. Let's see. I'm sorry, I was reading in the chat. This is quite early.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, the glamour doesn't seem his MO. Quite early. The men was just trying that MO. Yeah, about Blood Raven skin chain. Yeah. So that we were talking, Laurie and I were talking about that today, and that like being warging and like Bran going into Hodor, and how much harder that would be to pull off. Like if Blood Raven warged into a human like Maynard Plum, I don't think that would be his way of being able to do it. Because the guy, Varamir Sixskins, tries it in the prologue of, is that a Dance with Dragons? I think it is.
Well, it's an abomination, like, for sure. But I don't know I think if you're powerful enough, I think you can. I think, yeah, Sixskins, I think even just him being in 6 different creatures is kind of like wearing on his psyche, but I need to read that again too. Like all these little tidbits make me so hungry for the big meat on the bone.
We'll have a blood raven discussion for sure.
A big blood raven fest.
Yeah. Let's see. So we got that with his courage, and then Dunk is on about Sir Glendon. He's so worried about Glendon and him being falsely accused, and I think that's a perfect Dunk trait right there. You know, he's worried about the not the Sir Glendon. He is kind of the little guy, kind of like the cripples, bastards, and broken things, you know. But you know, he's like he was in the yard all day, tilting or watching the others, and Maynard doesn't really seem too upset about Glendon Ball, and I can understand why if he's on Bloodraven's side or is you know, whatever the situation or may be. Like I would think Glendon Ball was probably like one of the last people he would give a shit about because of his father. But Peak will find the egg and the saddlebags all the same. So he has the boiling wine and the strips of silk, and tells Dunk not to scream, and he's banging his fists and hard enough to leave bruises, and he doesn't scream. No. And when he asks how he's done, he says, bloody awful, where's Egg? And once again, he says, with the gods, and this is when Dunk reaches up and speak plain. I'm sick of hints and hints. God, I can't read. Hints and winks. Tell me where to find the boy, or I will snap your bloody neck, friend or no.
No. Ooh. Okay.
The sept, you would do well to go armed. Is that plain enough for you, Dunk? That's the first time he calls him Dunk. So that out at me too. Fiddles and riddles. That's a good one, Laurie.
Yeah, I just like Dunk. Like I just feel like he said it like that. Like he didn't say like, is that plain enough for you? Dunk. Like Dunk the lunk. Like I mean,
well, I think it's just
except for he doesn't know that he says it like that.
Yeah. I don't know. He could. I don't think he's like he could be at this point, like saying you're a dumbass, Dunk.
Well,
you know,
like Dunk. Like, get it? Like I told you so many times, like to get out of here, and you just didn't listen. Now I tied up your stupid bloody arm, and if you're gonna go there, don't go without a sword. So where does he go next? To the snail hut, to his pavilion to go get his stuff back, and he grabs his.
I was like, wait, he goes to the sept. I forgot about that part.
Yeah, no, he goes to grab his stuff real quick, and he's like, and Will the squire's like, well, you can't. Do you have the ransom for it? And he's like, no, and he's like, well, then why do you think I'll take it? And he's basically Dunk's like, because I'll kill you. That's why. Like either you, and how about try and stop me and I'll kill you? And so Will gaped and said, they're over there. Okay. Like it's not no question here about like, hey, fight for my crap. He's like, no, it's over there. Go get it.
Take it.
So then he goes into does he go right to the sept, or that's where
he pauses outside. He puts his sword belt in. He thinks like if anybody brushes up against him, might scream because he'll strapped, to his bad arm and all of that kind of stuff. CC was, and people complained, or no, Maynard talked about that, and when they first met, that Bloodraven's eyes were on the narrow sea, and that's why he wasn't helping with when people were complaining about the hand and the king not doing anything about the Ironborn and what they're doing up and down the West Coast and all that kind of stuff. Carrie, watch your tone, ma'am. I'm sorry. I love Dunk. Yeah, he did go savage mode. Let's see.
He totally did. Yeah, he's like, roar. So then he busts into there. Into the sept. That's where he goes straight on next. He has a sword, and basically, he see? Is this where he notices all the candles lit around? Tons for the warrior. That would be, guest. Not a whole lot. Then Lord Butterwell was bowing silently, but he wasn't alone. No sooner had he turned around, and then he hears
on his knees. He was,
Butterwell is on his knees praying because
you said bowing. I'm sorry.
No. He's on his knees praying, and then he's like,
Grown.
You have no business here. Some people start yelling at him, and
yeah, some Butterwell.
He's like, yes, he does. I warned you.
Yeah,
this would find me.
Egg.
Egg's voice.
Really, you know, of course, the reference to the dragon being born. I mean, Egg is not playing anymore.
No, and
ain't nobody got time for that shit.
And like, then it was the voice that,
this is it, you know.
Egg and Dunk is so excited. He's like, he could have ran over there and like grabbed him and picked him up, but he noticed like that he sounded a little more forceful or whatever. So just enough that Dunk was taken aback, like, what's going on? So
right.
A little
and this is Cece said something about the clout, and this is like, well, I think we got a little bit until we get to there, but it's like the best one. George saves the best one for last, I think.
Oh yes, this is. We talked about this earlier too. Yeah. It's a classic.
You know, Butterwell's on his knees. I've never seen Egg looking so stern. Something's weird here. Butterwell gets on his feet. He's like, just let him pass. I have done the boy no harm. I knew his father well when I was the king's hand. Prince Maker needs to know none of this was my idea. Please tell him. And Dunk's like, yeah, okay, I will tell him. And then thinking, what in the hell is going on here? And Butterwell throws Peak all into the bus, all his doing. Swear it. May the gods strike me down if I'm false. And
he is upset.
Egg ends up being the one to call him out, which I thought was great. Because he says, he told me who I must invite, who must be included. Yeah, I love me an egg hatching. Oh, wait, that was the wrong one. Egg becomes the dragon, but CC did say, love me an egg hatching. So I never wanted to be part of any treason. He brought this boy pretender here. But Tom Heddle, he urged me on. I won't deny that. My good son. I will not lie. He was a part of this. So like he's trying to take up for Tom Heddle, but I got to tell you, you know, he was a part of this, you know, more than me. And Egg's like, but he's your champion. So that means if he was in on it, so were you, you know. And Dunk wants to be like, be quiet, you're going to get us killed. But then Butterwell is like, but you don't understand. Heddle commands my garrison. And then Egg, you must have some loyal guardsmen. Like, this kid is like, he's got Butterwell like totally freaked.
Yeah, but it's basically like, well, look, here's the other picture on the other page. Like, and you can see in the sept, you can see back there, there's like the statues, but there they are. And there's just a lot of chaos. It's dark in there. There's some candles, but tensions are running high. And our little egglet has, yes, definitely cracked a shell, I think, and has become comfortable in his scales. So
yeah. I was just gonna say that Butterwell, like when he asks if he trusts any men in his garrison, when Egg asks him that, he's like, well, these guys here, a few more. I've been too lax. But I have never been a traitor, my butt. Frey and I harbored doubts since the beginning. He does not bear the sword. If he were his father's son, Bittersteel would have armed him with blackfyre. And all this talk about a dragon is madness and folly. And now they've taken my egg, you know, that my granddad got. And, oh, that's a good one, Lori. Comfortable in his scales. even when they do meet Blood Raven, he says something about Egg being the dragon that hatched, but the color was wrong. So, so let's see. I'm looking on my thing here.
Yeah, I have those all underlined. I love that madness and folly. And like I said, it's all about the sword, right? So even if he was like, yeah, Blackfyre Rebellion 2, here at my castle, but when he showed up and he didn't have the sword, that was a big, oh, what? Like, we're not sure. And also he didn't show up, like, because weren't they kind of thinking that he might show up? No? Or just the sword?
That shoot,
what's his face to come back?
Bittersteel. I don't, they wanted him, they wondered why he didn't. And I do think that either there was something about Daemon that, because Bittersteel's his uncle, so there was something about Daemon that he either didn't see that he would be able to pull it off, or it was the homosexuality thing, and he just totally held that against him and didn't think he would get the job done.
Yep.
So
could be
all the money he has, I'm sure that's from the other lords. I don't
see that's I was wondering too. Did that occur to you? It's like, how does this cat have so much money? I mean, they talked about the other coins being printed, but that's all like trader gold. So
yes.
I mean, I guess you have it, but yeah, this cat has got a lot of dough.
Yes. Better Wells and Convinced up to Black Tom. Yeah, very when they're up on the top of when they're on the steps. Exactly. Will Faegon end up? Yeah, Peak was the mastermind. Will Faegon end up with Blackfyre? I think that's very much a possibility. Yes, and I do think Dark Sister was brought up to if. From what the theories, now it's making me question the three-eyed crow. But
I know that's what she started telling. Oh, we'll have to talk about that after.
I'm sure y'all have heard those theories. I just hadn't yet. I've said this before, I've been more into the Starks and that magic and not the Targaryens, and so I'm on a learning expedition right now. So
for sure.
He did not, CC. I didn't know that. I thought, well, maybe he did. Or maybe she's just...
No, I think and then,
I don't remember him.
That's his son. Yeah, that's his son-in-law. I think they did mention that.
Okay.
And so, like, right. So this guy is like, he's like, yeah, I've been lax. Like, so basically he's just like milking cows. He's all about milk and cheese. Like, he's not into like the sword fighting. He has a lot of money though. So that leads them all to like seek him for cause. Obviously he's got tons of loot. He built that awesome white castle and, milk and cheese. And he got kicked out. Yeah. So
Blackfyre resurfaces. I think George will give us a little bit of fan service, and that'll happen, and it'll give Danny a harder time.
And of course,
thrown away from Faegon.
Blood and
cheese. Sorry, that was that was annoying laugh. Blood and cheese.
Blood and cheese, even worse. But so, anyways, this next part in Dunk says it. They must have I cannot say, but the egg is gone. So or else the dragon's egg hatched, thought Dunk. If a living dragon appeared again, because remember was the dream of the fiddler. So of course Dunk goes right to, oh my gosh, did that dragon egg hatch? Like not thinking of his little buddy.
This is something that just popped in my head.
Wings.
even if the dragon did hatch, it's like what happens with Daenerys. It's going to be a tiny little thing. So why the hell do these people think that that dragon hatching is going to really get them anywhere? Like, just because of the people's beliefs, I guess.
Just eventually it will be you know,
But that'll
nuclear,
take
a nuclear
years.
holocaust, right? But you know, whoever has the dragon has, you know, light, fire and flight. Like that weapon is unstoppable.
Yeah,
So as
like
long as they can protect it until it gets big enough.
right. So, but that would take a few years. So,
Oh, for sure.
for the common people, how long would it take? Like, just because they knew a dragon hatched, it's not big enough to do anything yet. So,
no, but it's almost like they would believe it, like they'd follow the sword. I think, like whoever has the dragon, even if it's a little baby dragon, we'll wait for it to get big. You know, like they don't, because eventually it will get big. You know, it's kind of like Lion King. Or, oh, the little baby lion. Like don't be friends with the lion, but you could be friends with the baby lion, and then get to know when it gets bigger, right? So.
yes,
I think that's why, because yeah, you're right, Carrie. They're not, and that was reading that series. Even when I got to Dance of Dragons, I was just like, please, those dragons just get big. God, like, when are we gonna do some? When are you gonna ride that freaking dragon? I mean, it's cool. Like once they were born, like, oh wow,
yeah.
But then it was like, okay, like where's the magic juice? Somebody sprinkle on that instant dragon growing powder.
Dragon,
so that would
nuclear bomb. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so
it would be a nuclear bomb.
Yeah, kind of. So like, but their Dunk even thinks, or else the dragon's hatched. But in my notes on the side, I write, Egg is the dragon. He's a dragon, Dunk. Come on. Like he doesn't recognize it yet, though. He doesn't see it yet.
No, Dunk. He gets there, but you know, it takes him a little time sometimes. So he wants a word, and Lord Butterwell's like, whatever you want. Okay.
I know.
The greatest. I'm going to clout you in the ear so hard your damn head will turn around backwards, and you'll spend the rest of your life looking at where you've been. Like, hey, Lady Starfall. That is just like classic.
I know. Totally funny. You know, smack you so hard, make your head spin.
Yep, and you'll be
looking behind you
where you've been.
That's a good one. It is a good one.
Yeah.
And then so he pulls Egg aside, and he's like, basically, what is going on here? And he's like, well, sir, I remember something that my dad told me about Bloodraven. Better to keep him scared. Well, here I have it underlined. I'll read it. Okay. About how it's better to be frightening than frightened.
Yes.
Like his dad told him he had Bloodraven. That's Bloodraven's quote. But he heard his dad talking about that before. So Egg, like, he was scared, and he decided to like flip that switch and become frightening. And boy, did it work. And he says, it worked better than I thought it would. And he has a little shy smile. Like, it's like, I can just imagine, because like right now he's
probably pretty proud of himself, I would say.
He's quaking in his boots. This lord of the milk house, Sir Eustace.
Not Sir Eustace.
Not Sir Eustace. He was in our other story. He's Lord of
now he's Lord of
Coldmoat, right?
Coldmoat, yes, thank you. I was thinking Weber was the only thing popping in my head.
But there is
going back to the beginning, like first story. I know a lot of you guys know this better than me. Been trying finding questions. That's like trivia stuff or whatever. Oh, you're reading The Storm of Swords, Lady Starfall. I hear you. I've been doing some Feast for Crows. I've read them all a bunch of times, but I never can keep up with what's in which book. So, what did Lori say? He's not sulking at Summer. Yeah, Egg makes Okay, so what did you I was doing the chat, Moni, but you had said that we were talking about how Egg, was kind of proud of himself.
Oh yeah, I totally think that he's like,
and he just wanted. Did you get into what he so he could stay?
So
Dunk.
Yeah, like basically, I mean, like, well, Dunk understood, like he kind of figured that out. It was about the boot.
Yeah.
I mean, he asked him, what happened, and like he went to go to the maester to show him, like, so he could send a raven because he wanted him to get some money so he could stay a night, like, so he didn't have to ransom his stuff, because really this was the end of Dunk's career at any blink of an eye, like losing to the Snail Knight, losing his squire, who happens to be the prince. Like, there so many times Dunk, like, close call after close call in this story. So my next notes was like, of course Dunk's really mad, like, this is no game, this is life and death. And he's like, did Lord Frey hear all of the BS? And he's like, yep. And as soon as he found out crap was going down, like, Egg's little story about, yeah, my dad's on his way, we're totally spies, like, you better watch out, like, and then yeah, they all folded and Frey took off.
If it wasn't Lord Butterwell, if anybody else had heard that, they would have been like, okay, we're taking you hostage then, and then we'll see what happens. Like Heddle says, when his daddy shows up, as long as we have him, he's not gonna do anything about it. So I'm wondering how Tom Heddle found out who the Egg is. And it's not that important to the story, but it was just something that popped into my head today. So Cece wrote, Egg, bow, you shit. like Bobby B. Bow, you shits. Let's see what Laurie said.
I agree.
They're having his dreams too may have more to do with the tragedy than we know. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get some more Laurie and make our sitting in a tree. So yeah,
so then what happens next? So no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, hope Scab's on his knees before the night is done, and that Egg didn't know what else to do. The maester brought me to them once he saw my father's ring, and Dunk's like, who's them? And it was Butterwell and Lord Frey. And earlier in last week, Dunk wondered why Butterwell and Frey had disappeared from the tournament, from the jousting, because it was in their honor and his wife was left sitting there or whatever, but they had disappeared. So I think, and this was when Dunk was looking for Egg.
Right. This was all when he realized,
so this is all happening.
Main guys are gone. Then he started looking, and everybody's like, oh, is he with a girl? That's what the fiddler said. And oh, sorry, I've got to go do my little tourney. And then, all these events happen, but so now he finally finds him, and there they are. And next thing you know, he's talking, and bam, the door slams open. Whoosh, this gust of wind comes in, lightning behind them, guys coming in with pikes and spears and swords raised. And just the image here that George does is like the flickers on the candles all dance from this big gust of wind that comes in. But I just love the lightning behind all these guys.
Yeah. The storm
in the shadows on the white floor of the sept, and basically Dunk knows exactly what's happening right now. First thought is, oh, 7 bloody hells, which I love that line. Totally a t-shirt. And he's just like, then that next thing he hears is, there's the boy, take him. And you're right, Carrie, we don't know how he figured it out, but
he just thinks it was through the grapevine,
and it could be for sure.
Then
but I love Lord Butterwell at this point too. He's just like, no, halt, no. And he's like, no.
Yeah.
I want no more part of this, Lord Peak, or his pretender. I will not fight. He's like, no.
I want, Dunk asks Egg if he took the egg, and then he talks about saying once he showed him the ring, he thought about saying he'd stolen it, and then it talks about what his father heard about Bloodraven, or what Bloodraven said about being frightening more than frightened. Yeah, the confusion because the guards don't know who to listen to, because Butterwell's like, no, I won't have bloodshed, and then he's like, this is the Princess Sword, and Heddle's like, I don't give a crap, and he's got his guys, and then there's and everybody ends up just standing there, and it comes down to Tom Heddle and Dunk, another kind of trial by.
Sorry, and this is like this is the big climax, because not only was it perfect for the story, the words, the visual, but then they did a 2-page picture spread, which I live for these. So it'll probably be really hard for you to see up close. I'll try to get it.
It's a big sept, I noticed.
Yeah.
That.
Well, he's got money. And lots of money.
Yeah, no fault. Tomard, what is the meaning of this? And not all of us have milk running in our veins, your lordship. I'll have the boy. Butterwell's voice had turned into a high, thin quaver. We are undone. Lord Frey is gone. Because they wanted the Frey swords and all of that. And others will follow. Prince Maker's coming with an army. And in Heddle, all the more reason to take the boys hostage. And Butterwell says, no, I don't want any more part of Lord Peak or his pretender. I will not fight. And Black Tom's like, yeah, you will, or you'll die. So he said, I'll do it.
Son-in-law.
I'll do it myself then. Yeah, really. Draws his sword, and Dunk does the same. And Butterwell's still trying, no bloodshed in the sept. And Heddle says he'll only kill me if he falls on me. I saw him try to joust, and CC already wrote this in there. I'm better with the sword.
How dare him? I put on the side. Oh, why is he gotta be like that? Like, hey, why you gotta be like that, dude? Come on. Only if he falls and crushes me. Like,
yeah. Well, you better hope that doesn't happen either.
I know, truly, but still, it's just like, So then, so that guy, Black Tom, goes at our hero, and he's like, "You're no knight," said Black Tom. "Are those tears in your eyes?" But he's like bashing him like crazy on his stupid wimpy hangman's sword, which and Dunk does a little prayer in his head, like about oak and iron, shield me well.
Yeah.
And then he's like, whoops, it's pine, and it's just like going to slivers.
And it's the same words Egg has used before. Yeah, there you go, CC. Oh, take care, Lady Starfall. I know how it is about being tired. He's right there, sir. He's right there. Get him. He's right there. Like, that's what he did it at
the tourney.
And yeah, all of that. And he's having that hard time because he keeps bashing that there's the shield, which is the wounded arm, and that's why he's crying, because it hurts so freaking bad. And
I know, but that's funny too. Like, okay, is that like, I just boys, like, oh, what are you gonna do? Cry about it? Like, that's he's just like, are those tears in your eyes? You're no knight. Are you crying? And he's like, and Donkey, like, he doesn't even like care. Like, yeah. So what if I'm crying? Like, who cares? I'm like a huge monster and I'm about to clobber you. But he's just like, they're tears of pain. Like, that's his inner monologue. He doesn't argue back and forth with it. But it's still,
that gets him up off his knees, and he slams his shield right into it.
He
And
gets nuts right there.
Bold right after him, using his size and strength to knock Heddle halfway across the sept. Then he swung the shield aside, slashed out with his long sword, and Heddle screamed. He hits him in the thigh, cuts him in the thigh really, really well. And really well. I didn't mean to say it like that.
I know.
I mean,
he gets him good.
Gets him good. And for my egg, sorry, I got a hashtag in here. So his like to Heddle's return slashes, parry, whatever you want to call it, is wild, desperate and clumsy. And Dunk lets his shield take it one more time and then put all of his weight into his final answer, which was cutting off, not necessarily final answer, but cutting off, his forearm.
Oh, okay. And like, what did you think of? What was the first thing you thought of in this part?
With him cutting off his forearm?
Yeah.
The first
Star
thing
Wars.
I thought of. Oh,
what do all Jedis do? What do all Jedis do? Chop off other guys' arms. That's right. That's right.
Well, I remember it happening to Luke's hand, but like I've only seen the first 3 movies.
Oh my gosh. All right. You're making me nuts. Okay. She's my bestie. I got to work on my girl.
Lots of stuff to watch.
I know, isn't that the truth?
Lots of movies, lots of shows, lots of stuff.
Isn't that the truth? But yes, so I totally had a Star Wars flashback. I couldn't help it.
I gotcha.
I guess
when
you
said that,
I guess you didn't
or something. No, I mean I do now, but so after as you know, he cuts that off right beneath the stranger's altar, and Tom Heddle, you, and he says, "I told you I'm better with a sword," as he's sticking it through his throat. So,
and isn't that isn't that what Arya does? And
back to Oliver, because he does it to Mommy. Yeah. Nice sword. Maybe I'll pick my teeth with it. You know, that kind of totally freaks him out.
You got an itch in the back of your neck.
No, but yeah. I'd love to have a little sword like Needle. That'd be awesome.
Ooh,
Moni knows how I can.
I'm like. I know. It would. Could you? Was that obvious? Was that obvious? Was my first reaction obvious, Carrie? I'm like, oh yeah. I'd love for you to have a sword like Needle too.
Oh man.
It would be fun. We could fence together.
Taken away in cuffs by now. Anyway, let's
hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. Go ahead.
Sure. I was just gonna let's see. We got Butterwell turning to Duncan Egg. This was ill done. We got to leave White Walls before the 2 of the men-at-arms that were with Heddle. They ran away, and he has more friends among the guests than even Butterwell does. Oh, Gorman Peak does. Excuse me, guys.
Gormy
Peak has more friends among the guests than Butterwell does. So the postern gate, there it is mentioned again, and so Dunk actually thinks like, okay, Egg, go with Butterwell, but don't stay with him any longer than you need to. Give Rain his head and get the hell away before he changes sides again. That was a good one. Make for Maidenpool. It's closer to
King's Landing. Yep.
There we go. And Egg's like, well, what about you, sir? And he says, never mind about me, but I'm your squire. Yeah, and you'll do what I tell you, or you'll get a cloud in the air.
Again.
Yes, and Dunk goes again and puts himself in danger, but I think this was probably one of my favorite parts of this whole story. He goes to the feast and the old ox, and poor, they're so cute together.
I know.
Is there a picture? I don't think there is of the feast. I don't know what the next one is. I can't remember.
Yeah. So anyways, I don't yeah, so lots of people are still there.
And they're not like they mentioned Mortimer Boggs, like looks at him like a curious stare, but didn't like people aren't talking to him. But Uthor Underleaf was not so shy. You've come late to the feast, and I see you wear your sword again. And Dunk tells him you'll have your ransom for it if that's all that concerns you. Unless I die, then you can have leave to loot my corpse. And Uthor laughed, and he's still trying to like get him to accept his offer. And Dunk says it's later than you think, and pushes his butt out of the way. This was outside the feast. So
right. So do you think that Uthor is in on it?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
He's just there for the coin. He's not there for the conspiracy. Right. Okay.
Because when they thought he was there to do that, and that's why they brought Heddle out to joust him, because he'd been paying the Master of Games off, Cosgrove, and then got that match, and then he got beaten. They never go through that in the story, but or maybe Tom Heddle kicks his butt, so he's out, and he won't be getting his Anyway,
that would be classic hitching a ride. Like, just totally. But he's like Mr. Sneaky. Like, I mean, I don't even think, honestly, Dunk isn't, I don't think, worried one little bit about how Egg would get away and get there. Like, he really, you know what I mean? Like somebody else might worry about this kid, but this kid is pretty resourceful.
Yes.
I mean, wow. So remember when he first came to this banquet, like he was worried about that he just didn't fit in, and now he's like, well, now what? Now they're all there. He notices that Sir Kyle is kind of in his cups and
bowl of brown.
He didn't really dig into his bowl of brown. He kind of prefers something a little bit. Although I don't think it's like Dunk refers to it as like the brown, like in Flea's bottom, but
right.
I don't think Butterball is serving that necessarily, even if it's below the salt.
Yeah,
but it's just unappealing to him. He's probably just sick, because remember, Kyle the cat is
right
out of a job. He's
no money.
He should be filling up. He should be filling up on this brown, because he doesn't know when.
The next time he'll get a meal.
Mm-hmm.
You're exactly right. And so he goes in and and
then Uther gives him crap about unless I die, and he's like, ooh, is it gallantry or just stupidity that I smell? They smell alike. It's like, ooh, man. Okay, so these hedge knights can be a little bitchy too, maybe. I don't know. Like, that's what I was wondering on the side, like if that was if Uther was in on it. So you don't think so? Okay.
So Sir Kyle offers Duncan some ale, but that was the last thing he needed. And he's like, "Are you unwell?
Yeah, you don't look good.
You don't look too great." And Dunk's like, "Where? What was done with Glendon?" And they took him to the dungeons. And even Kyle's like, "The boy never struck me as a thief," and Dunk's like, "He isn't." Then Kyle's like, "Your arm, how did, and starting to ask him questions." And Dunk says, "A dagger." And then, let's see, he had escaped death twice today. That would suffice for most men he knew. Dunk the Lunk thick as a castle wall, and he pushes to his feet. "Your Grace," he called.
And then he kind of loses it. Wait, don't you think? Like right here, it's like, whoa, I put on the side. So wait, Damon took over Whitehall then, right?
Well, they've had him up on the day. Yeah, he's up there with the other lord, but he hasn't. He's revealed it to Dunk, but not everybody knows who he is.
Oh, really? I thought he knew.
No.
Right, yeah. Okay. You're right. It's not till the next day.
But yeah, but not at
So
this moment. So
right, but Dunk loses it at this point because he just then he kind of goes nuts.
Well, after he screams, "Your Grace," he does it twice really loudly, and then he just walks up toward the dais and is like, "Damon," like, "Hey." And then half the hall grew quiet. The man who called himself the Fiddler turned to smile at him. He had put on a purple tunic, and Dunk was like purple to bring out the color of his eyes. "Sir Duncan, I'm pleased that you are with us. What would you have of me?" "Justice for Glendon Ball." And the name like echoes off the wall because it's so quiet in there. And Lord Costane, "It's death that one deserves, not justice." And other people are murmuring in agreement. And
see, but I see at this point, I thought that they did. I thought that like, I thought Butterball was hiding, like he was just like, "Let's get out of here," like, and then
Pete knows. I would say, Costane, Cockshaw, those people that fought with the Black Dragon.
I guess there's because I misunderstood because he was sitting above the salt and he was wearing purple, and purple is such a royalty color, but he was just being flamboyant and showing that was just George tossing out some crumbs for us or whatever.
I think so.
Okay.
Sorry, I was going to take a whole look at
then. Oh, okay. Are you looking at the chat then?
So
yeah, so he says like he needs justice for Glendon Ball, and basically it goes.
It's like the Jon Snow crap, with Alistair Thorne, and I know I'm referring to the show, but blood will tell because he's a bastard, right. And Dunk despairs, thinking, "I'm alone here." But then Kyle the cat is like, "The boy may be a bastard, but he's Fireball's bastard." It's like Sir Harbert said, Harbert Page, blood will tell. Damon frowns. "No one honors Fireball more than I do. I will not believe this false knight is his seed. He stole the dragon's egg and slew 3 good men in the doing." And Dunk's like, "No, he didn't. He didn't steal anything. He didn't kill anybody. If 3 men were killed, go look somewhere else. Your Grace knows as well as I that Sir Glendon was in the yard all day, riding one tilt after another." And Damon's like, "Yeah, that's true. And I did wonder about that myself. But the dragon's egg was found amongst his things." And then Dunk, where is it now? And then Peak, that's when Peak starts. This when Peak starts to lose it because he's questioning the dragon egg.
Yeah, Your Grace.
Yes.
It comes to me that a hedge knight. It comes to me that this hedge knight arrived at White Walls with Sir Glendon uninvited. He might be part of this as well. So he's like trying to like twist it up and see, but like right there where he says "Your Grace," that's how come I thought he was out of. I thought everybody who was there was in on it, kind of like they were all part of this conspiracy at this point.
That's what I'm writing, Lori. It's possible, but I mean, he hadn't undyed, like his hair was still black. So I don't.
Right. Yeah. No, that big reveal is to come. Right. Yeah, so
I don't think everybody knows yet.
Okay, because then Dunk says next, "Your Grace, the dragon egg that Lord Peak found amongst Glendon's things was placed there. Let him bring it forth. Examine it yourself. I'll wager it's no more than a painted stone."
Yes. Maud Mary asked me a question. Welcome back. By the way, do we believe that the dragon egg was fake, that the little people stole it? I think that Butterwell had the real dragon egg. I've been wondering to myself how long it had been switched out, because when Dunk picks it up and his thoughts about, wow, this is so hard and heavy, I could kill some. Sorry about that, guys. Thought I had my notifications turned on. Okay, so I was wondering, like, when Dunk picked it up, if at that point it had already been switched out because, you know, he thinks about it being so heavy. You could hit somebody once with it and kill them.
I think the one in the bag is a painted fake.
Yes.
Maybe that they were gonna try to switch up with it anyways, but I think that the one that Dunk saw, like how they talk about the swirly colors and stuff like that, like I just think the dragon eggs are like so gorgeous, like that to see them in person, you can't really mistake them. Like to accuse somebody of stealing them in a saddle sack, yeah, that would be an easy one to.
Well, there is that picture of the dwarfs with the bag, and I think that they did take it and got it back to Blood Raven. Maud Mary thinks they were both fakes. Nice. Who knows? You know, Aegon.
They're pretty valuable. So
yeah, is messing around. What did Laurie write? Real quick here. Well, he's attending. Yeah, he did know who to invite. The Costains and the Shawnees were in the battle on the left and right of Daemon and all that stuff. So let's see, where were we? So let him bring it forth to Daemon, the dragon egg. Examine it yourself. I'll wager you'll find it no more than a painted stone, and the hall erupts into chaos.
Yes.
Everybody's like, oh my God, how can you say that? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And Damon's like, are you drunk, my friend? Come on, you know, because he doesn't, you know, he's been outwitted and he's lost you know, he does.
Well, like, I love this part. He's just like, yeah, well, they've been paying him all off. Like, that's when he finally, like, he's just like, yeah, you think you're so great, but no, they've been paying off people for you to win, and it was their intention to get the egg all along. And basically, I mean, and Dunk figured out that one. That's when Glendon became a threat, you know, is when he was going to win the egg, which, you know, these guys' plot was that the fiddler had to, or Daemon, as we now know. So yeah, and that's when he pricks his pride. And he's just like, what? Oh, well, you know what? Go get him, and then let get the egg, because I want to examine it. I want to examine it.
And and Daemon, you know, he's baffled. If Ball did no wrong, as you insist, why would his lordship say he did and try to prove it with some painted rock? And Egg's like, to remove him from your path. His lordship bought everybody else with golden promises, but Ball was not for sale. And the fiddler, that is not true. That is not true. It is true. Send for Glendon and ask him, and I will do just that. Lord Peak, have him fetched up, and the dragon's egg. And Peak gives Dunk just a really dirty look of just pure loathing. And, oh, the bastard boy is being questioned a few more hours and will have a confession for you, I do not doubt. And Dunk, man, he's kicking ass with this stuff. By question, my lord means tortured. A few more hours, and Sir Glendon will confess to have killing your dad and both of your brothers too. And he's like, enough! One more word, and I'll rip your tongue out by the roots. And Dunk said, you lie. That's 2 words. What you gonna do about it? You know?
You lie. I know, can't you just say, you lie. There you go.
Well, he says, he says, take him and chain him up, and Damon's like, no. And his voice is described as dangerously quiet. I want the truth of this. Sunderland, Verwell, Smallwood, go to the dungeons and bring him up, bring Glendon up, and see that no harm comes to him. If any man should try to hinder you, tell them you are about the king's business. I will settle this as my father would. Glendon stands accused of grievous crimes. As a knight, he has the right to defend himself by strength of arms. I shall meet him in the lists and let the gods determine guilt and innocence.
This guy, right?
Yes.
So he thinks he's like the super champion. We'll let the gods decide. Well, I mean, I guess that is how they did it, but.
I'm looking in the chat. Kind of like if a king. remember
But
that.
up to this point, when they tackled him and like Sir Glendon didn't have the right to, and that got me thinking like, well, can the condemned, yeah, that's the only way it would work, is the condemned to say I want a trial by 7, right? So or I mean not trial by, just by combat. By combat. It was so then yeah, but instead it's the accuser saying, well, it can be decided by trial by combat. It's just like, wait, because then I remembered, yeah, Tyrion asked, and so yeah, you can do it that way.
Yeah,
for the gods to decide.
I had never heard of a jousting one before, though, as a way to settle things. It's always more like a one-on-one sword, you know, like just thinking about Oberyn in the mountain, or, you know, like things like that. It's just generally not a jousting.
Well, but
way to
like, or is it one of those like choose the weapon, you know, like, and or like the way that we're gonna do it? Usually, that is a one-on-one combat type of thing, or like, but like they said, when it was the 7, they did jousting there at the beginning of it.
That's true. That's true. They're talking in the chat. So
what's going on in the chat?
How Sanchez wondered about the dragon egg and what happened to it when Aegon tried to hatch at Summerhall. Do we even know how many they tried to hatch at Summerhall?
I think
it's possible there were at least 17. And I know Egg says, you know, that the last dragon had 5. And then Alyssa Farman stole them and they were bought by a spice merchant. LOL. Yes, Egg does have his own egg. There are lots of eggs. Thanks for the count, CC. Can always count on you for the fact checks.
I'm here. I'm listening. I'm just looking for my bottle opener. So
Egg probably does get a hold of it again if Bloodraven is the one that got the dwarves to, or Maynard or whatever. That Egg ended up back with Bloodraven and Ares and all of that. So it was probably kept at the Red Keep or Dragonstone or wherever the Targaryens were. So I could definitely see that being one of the ones that was they tried to hatch at Summerhall.
I can't believe me.
What'd you do?
I misplaced my bottle opener because it's time for another. Because it's time, and I was looking everywhere for it and put it where I should. So yeah, so there's lots and lots of dragon eggs, and they said there's some that can't be found, like, you know, that they haven't necessarily found, you know, hidden away.
So Illyrio, Alyssa Farman, yeah, y'all think that she gave, because I always wondered how Illyrio got a hold of those dragons eggs. And like I've told you guys, I know you know Fire and Blood much better than me, but I'm getting there. So they had beat the crap out of Glendon.
Oh yeah, this is.
And Egg thinks hero's blood or whore's blood. He has a deal less of it than he did before. He'd been savagely beaten. His face was bruised and swollen. He lost several of his teeth, or they were cracked. Right eye, up and down his chest. This was the worst part. Crackling from where they burned him with hot irons. That's shit the Romans used to do too. Like, yeah. It was
you can get anybody to confess to anything. We know that. That's kind of
exactly. That's kind of the point. Yeah. If Aegon the Unworthy gave an egg to Butterwell, you'd think at least Daemon would have, gotten one too. Maybe there weren't enough to go around, or I don't know. I just think Aegon the Fourth went pretty crazy with his sexually transmitted diseases and whatever else was wrong with him when he died, overweight, you know, just all of that. He didn't really take his kingship. Or is Maud Mary correct where his is actually fake?
Could be.
Could be.
Could be. Boy,
So,
would that be a trick to have to like crawl through a privy
to get a fake egg.
or a fake freaking egg. Man, that would burn my biscuits. I could tell you that for nothing.
Real, but
I think so too. Just because
so,
I think it is as hard as a rock, just because
well, Daenerys,
they think they're petrified, right? I mean, they kind of.
Yeah. There's no one here but hedge knights, and the gods know that we're a harmless lot. That was Sir Kyle, so they are trying
Kyle Kitty.
Help Glendon, and they've done some other awful stuff besides burning with irons. It's like,
and he's naked.
No, he's not naked. There is a picture, but he's not naked in the picture. But
no, thank goodness. I'll show the picture.
It's not how I pictured him, with the way I think that the voice that Harry Lloyd uses in the books. I just pictured him more bratty looking, not like a little hot 16-year-old. I'm sorry, acting like a cougar, but what you know what I mean. Nice build and all of that kind of stuff.
Well, we know he's
right there.
He's good. I mean, because basically, I mean, and he is just a young kid. He's got pimples instead of whiskers. But this is like, he's got so much to prove. Like, he's just so. And then, so at this point, they're looking at him. They're trying to fix him up. First thing that Dunk notices is that he had 3 fingernails ripped off. And so he's worried that he's not going to be able to hold a lance. And so he asks Glendon that, and Glendon's like, am I missing any fingers? Oh, the guy doesn't know. And he's just like, no, you have all 10 fingers, but you only have 7 fingernails. You're missing 3. And he's like, oh yeah, he was just about ready to cut off my fingers. So basically he was ripping out his fingernails and then cutting off his fingers. Like, holy crap, that's so mean.
Yes.
So basically he's like, yeah, I can do whatever. Like, as long as I have all my fingers, I can do this. Like, you're gonna. And it's just like, and you will see. He's like, bring me my shield, a lance, and saddle, and you will see what I can do. Wow. I mean, still cocky after all that.
Right.
Like, whoa. And then, I'm sorry, does he say before that, I would have fought with him? Is this where he says that too?
I would have died for him. I would have fought for him.
Like, gosh, but he just wouldn't take a dive.
Yes. I'm sorry, I was writing back something to Maud Mary, so people, let's see, would like look up. I'm gonna put it in the chat, Maud Mary, but what I said back to them being too valuable to give away the Bastards Banquet, I think that even though they put on this whole production, and that Daemon winning it in the joust, even though it was through cheating, and him dreaming about the egg, like, it was their way of getting it in Daemon's possession, and that would make the people think even more of him because he actually won the egg and it wasn't given to him. If y'all get,
like, it was some kind of kismet, some fate.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
The god smiled down upon him and he won the illustrious dragon egg. He must be our future king.
Harass, and I wrote badass in my comment. So if that doesn't make sense, that was autocorrect. So yeah, Glendon just says the only thing I couldn't do was lose to him. There's no way I could do that. Let me get back to the right page.
So yes, hearts melt. Even though he was a cocky kid, it was just like, at this point my heart kind of turned. It's like, oh well, it kind of a little bit before when he got attacked, but after know that he's getting tortured.
I'm shaking like a
girl. Like a girl.
Oh, that would be good, Cece. Yeah, Lori said the same thing. That would be good, CC, to make to get Glendon a place in the King's Guard. Maybe we'll find out that Aegon did that later on. Who knows? Who knows? Because I know the fourth book is called The She-Wolves of Winterfell, the one that's after this that either hasn't been finished or hasn't been released. So a lot of people talk about that being when he hooks up with old Nan and da 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 da. Damon's dream, it reminds me of Melisandre. Really, it was just that a dragon egg would hatch, or a dragon, like, was it mentioned in the story about a dragon hatching from stone, or am I just like?
I think so.
Okay, so that's very Melisandre prophecy-y. So, because Maud Mary, was asking about,
yeah, and that's basically, whereas we, the readers, kind of got that. Yeah, dreams are in symbols, and if you dreamt that a dragon hatched, it's like, it's our little egg. I mean, for sure, that's what we're seeing as readers. I think it's egg is the dragon that.
Dragon. Yeah, true, CC. Glendon would die at Summerhall. It would just be still be an honorable death. You're right, Lori. Okay, so it's like getting close to 2 hours now. No, I'm not trying to sound bitchy or anything. We still got Blood Raven and all of that.
Yes.
So Glendon's gonna joust, and he's able to sit up on the horse, and it's a horse that's a new one, and Dunk's like, you shouldn't be doing this. You should use a horse that you know. And this is another where I think it's Blood Raven thing coming, or possibly there, the castle yard. Wait, it does mention the torches, but beyond the field a gray mist was rising, sending ghostly fingers up the pale stone walls to grasp the castle battlements. And we had talked about they brought up him being the mist and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of the wedding guests had disappeared, but the ones who remained are there, standing there looking on. Gorman Peak, of course, and Dunk still remembers how to squire, so he gets Glendon's armor and all his horse and everything. Helps him with all of that. And he thinks he looks as young as Egg, a frightened boy, and grim. And then the thing about he should have stayed with his horse, and he gets him a war lance, the 8-foot long one with the iron piercing, point on it.
Well, because that's what he tells him, grab one, and the other guy, he grabbed a war lance too. But then our hero harkens back. Harkened he back to our first tale in this story about the 7 on 7 and Baylor's advice of like, hey, we gotta if we use the tourney, if we use the tourney ones, it will it's 12 foot instead of 8 foot. So you could knock him off your horse first. And of course he doesn't. He's like, are you crazy? He's gonna kill me. He wants to kill me. He's like, but not if he doesn't touch you first. Yeah. And so this reminded me of another Star Wars moment, just because somebody got their hand chopped off. I couldn't help it. And then so then he says, first he has to strike you. If you aim true, his point will never touch you. And he's like, I don't know. And that's where Dunk should have said, I know. Instead of, but he says, I do. Okay, fair enough. But that would have completed my Star Wars fantasy. That's all I'm saying.
Glendon, Glendon 7, save us both then. And lightning cracks. Damon's got his golden spurs and leaps forward like a thunderclap. Glendon raises a shield, races across, and there's mud going everywhere, and Dunk just closes his eyes, like he can't even watch.
I know.
and he hears the crack and the
No.
come out of Peak, and the fiddler is on face down in a puddle of freaking mud, and one of the common folk, or it could have been one of the lords. I'd have to look back at it. Just as someone shouted, "The brown dragon," and laughing rippled through the yard. So Damon had just made a huge ass out of himself.
And that is a great visual of the fallen brown dragon.
Because when he comes out to joust, he's washed the dye of his hair. He has put the bardings on of the blackfyres on his horse, and you know, whatever else he's wearing.
He's wearing the red with the black dragon. So
right.
He is like super, and that's what I another thing I had in my notes was this guy, the luggage, right? That he must have been carrying. I mean, he had 2 things of armor. Because one is blue and gold, and now
you're right,
he's red and black. So it's just like they talk about his gold spurs, but
remember when they come upon them like on the road and Peak, they talk to him, and Peak there's a bunch, like a huge line of people with wains and all of their gear and stuff.
Yeah. Like this guy, he has got some luggage.
Yes, that's for sure. The brown, what did Cece wrote? # brown prince. Yeah. And by this time, the trumpets blow. And
but wait, dun, 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 that's not all. So yeah, there's our little fallen brown dragon. But look at that! What the heck?
Yes.
The trumpet. Oh, there. Doot, doot, doot. I can't. It's like opposite. So there.
Yeah.
Oh, a whole parade of oncomers.
And Egg, Dunk thinks, oh, Egg wasn't lying after all. He says to Sir Kyle, and he's like blown away. He's astonished, and he thinks it's what Egg said, like his daddy was coming, Maker was coming with an army. But what had happened is all of the lords from around Maidenpool, Lord Blackwood, Duskendale, the royal demesnes around King's Landing, the Hayfords, the Rosbys, the Stokeworths, Masseys, King's Own Sworn Swords, led by 3 Knights of the King's Guard and stiffened by 300 ravens' teeth. And Mad Danelle Lothston herself rode forth, and then it describes her clad in black armor that fit her like an iron glove, and her long red hair streaming.
Which I want some clad black armor that'll fit me like a steel glove. What?
Damon is good. He didn't bite into one. Yeah, I feel a little sorry for Damon. Picture crying Brittany alone.
Leave Brittany alone. That's so funny.
Dunk realizes when he sees that this heiress's standard, and then the hands, which is
a white dragon.
White dragon, thank you. Breathing scarlet flame. Not Maker after all, Dunk knew. So because Maker
has 4 3-headed dragons because he's the 4th son.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Gotcha.
You got it, girl.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the single white dragon announced the presence of Brendan Rivers. He himself had come to White Walls. And I love this part. The second Blackfyre rebellion ended with a whimper.
Yeah.
Like, great way to describe that. And Damon, they cannot cow us, and he's trying to, get the troops all riled up, and they can't beat us. We have the just cause, and and so he pulls out his sword and pulls it above his head, and then they can see then it's not Blackfyre. And somebody says, piss on that fiddle boy, I'd sooner live. And
well, yeah, because he's basically like, oh, we can die today. This will be our red grass field, and like who's on that, fiddle boy? Like, no way. We like some squire yells that, so everybody's kind of like, and that's got to be a low point, boy, when you think that you're rallying the troops and everybody like just withers back, like goes into the cracks, and there you are by yourself.
Yeah, and so he still even has the balls to go out and rein up before him. Blood Raven challenge him to single combat. They just take him down off his horse.
Okay, but tell me this. All right.
Golden fetters.
So riddle me this. Why does he not get to, okay, that's I guess where I got confused. And I know we're getting close on time, but why did he not get to declare? Because he's a traitor? It doesn't, because he can't win. Basically him winning is going to go against the king.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why.
Because it's just like if he's demanding a trial by combat, but Blood Raven's like, yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, since he's the hand of the king, he definitely has, he has
a lot of authority.
And he has a lot of men surrounding him.
That too. Well, yeah, we saw that. We saw that parade.
Like, just take his ass down and tie him up.
And I just wondered, like, why that but that's why, because, like, well, even if he won the trial by combat, he'd still be a traitor, right? So that's why.
Yes. Pulled in Jeffrey Epstein on him. Cece and I chatted, like, messaged about that a little bit. I was like, I thought I read that Damon died in this year, but he was in the Red Keep for a little while. Maura Lee in the house, such a sweetheart.
Yeah. So, like, yeah, they take him off because he can't be a martyr if he's the guest of the crown.
Yes,
and nor can his sons be crowned.
Right, because there's already one ahead. So Bittersteel can't. That is Aegor. Sorry, can't crown one when there's already one crowned. And Cece thinks somebody assassinated him in the Red Keep just to start the next rebellion, which I guess was Aegon, that was crowned. I don't really remember that.
I could see that. No, I know.
Yeah, Glendon Ball becoming a Kingsguard, now that we've started talking about it. I had not thought about it. Oh, thank you. Mark. You're so sweet.
I definitely think that he did.
Yeah.
But of course I wasn't thinking about him dying then at Summerhall.
Yeah. So the only bloodshed that day came when a man in service to Lord Verwell began to boast that he had been one of Bloodraven's eyes and would soon be well rewarded. By the time the moon turns, I'll be a fucking horse, pardon me, and drinking Dornish red. He was supposed to have said just before one of Lord Costain's knights slit his throat. Drink that. It's not Dornish, but it's red.
Ooh, rim shot. Woo, Carrie.
I can do that on the drum. We have a drum kit down in the basement. My husband, plays this piano.
Yes, Carrie has a rock and roll double life. Don't let her fool you. Don't let her fool you.
Just don't have any money being made off of it. That's the problem.
Most rock and rolls people don't.
You're so right about that. Gaiman. I didn't see Gaiman's name, CC, but I probably wasn't looking in the right place because it was like on an online thing, and I did not see the name Gaiman. But we'll talk about that another time. Let's see. So Dunk's just walking with Kyle and Glendon and all the people that are sullen and quiet and being brought out the gates of white walls and tossing their weapons into a pile and then being bound and led away to just sit there and await Bloodraven's judgment. So he had a lot of work to do after this.
Yeah, he did. It was just like,
they were going to take him to King's Landing for trial and stuff like that. But then Roland Hall finds Dunk among the prisoners, and he's like, where in 7 hells have you been? Lord Rivers has been asking for you for hours. And so they walk, and he notices Hall's long cloak flapping behind him, and the sight of it made him think back to the words the fiddler had spoken up on the roof. I dreamed that you were all in white from head to heel, the long pale cloak flowing from those broad shoulders. Dunk snorted. Yeah, and you dreamed of dragons hatching from stone eggs. One's as likely as the other.
But didn't you think that was really cute that he was like amongst all the prisoners? So like they gather up everybody, they stick him over there. You have to talk to Bloodraven. And then, but he doesn't, like, all this crap that he's been through, and he doesn't think to like stand up and be like, wait, excuse me. That's my squire in with the hand of the king. So like he's just sitting there with the rest of them going, oh man.
To look for him.
Yeah, so people have to go look for him, like, and they go find him among all the traders, because like this was a trade attorney. So yeah, they grab him and bring him to the front. Got to go talk to the man.
A half mile away, and it's under an elm tree, which I found very
awesome,
like, poetic, I guess would be a word.
Yeah. Yes. Perfect.
And he notices the cows, and Dunk's like, kings
That's
rise
so cute.
And the cows and small folk go about their business. It was something Sir Arlen used to say. And that's when he asks Sir Roland what's going to happen to these people. The knights and men at arms should get off light enough. They're going to all be marched back to King's Landing for trial. Well, not all of them, but get off easy because they were following their liege lords, and the lords, some will be pardoned as long as they tell the truth and give up a kid or two to vouchsafe their loyalty in the future. It will go harder for those who took pardons after the Redgrass Field. They will be imprisoned or attainted. The worst will lose their heads. So Bloodraven had already made a start with that, and it was Gorman Peak and Tom Heddle's heads on spikes already.
Not that I really feel bad for either one of those two, but this was, Dunk has got such a, wow, how would you describe it? Like tender heart, or?
Yeah, like it's honor. It's an honor.
Yeah, he is so honor bound, and
gotten this this spot with Sir Arlen and gotten to where he is if Gorman Peak had not killed Sir Arlen's nephew, Roger.
So he closes his eyes because he notices that even in death, their heart is needy.
Yeah, I think it's kind of, he don't want to see his eyes, and then also kind of like
out of respect.
Right, that too.
But then the guard right there is like, what'd you do that for? The crows are going to get their eyes anyways. It's like, it's just such a gory thing. It is. I mean, this is a huge deterrent. I don't care what anybody says.
Right.
I feel like even if like rotten little kids steal them off the spikes and torture little girls with these rotten heads, but they're not. It's a gory custom for sure.
PayPal, there you go. Hey, don't use Patreon anymore, you guys. I swear. I take money out of my account after I canceled stuff, and I know there's been a lot of lawsuits filed, so people should change, I think, to PayPal. But that's just my humble opinion, and I'm fighting it with the bank because they just literally stole it out of my account. Raven Pal, there you go.
Raven Pal.
A great Super Bowl commercial. Oh man.
Oh shit.
So dun dun, he's in the presence of Lord Brendan Rivers.
Yeah.
And hand
I'm a little nervous.
Yeah. So
he gets to watch he gets to watch Butterball get kind of sentenced in front of him.
He first sees Egg, who's bathed in garb, princely
yeah, our boy. Aww.
And Frey's just sitting there in a camp chair with a cup of wine and his hideous little heir squirming in his lap. Butterwell.
So they must have caught Frey on his way out. So remember, because he left.
Yeah, because he was leaving. Yeah.
So him and his party left already as soon as they found out Egg was like who Egg was. So they were like, later, Gator. Good luck with the hand of the king and all. No, they thought it was with the prince maker, right? So he goes, but while he's on his way back to his castle, the other guys come along, so they grab him. I love it because there he is sitting there. But I also love how they describe his kid as just hideous or whatever. Like it's just his horrible child
squirming in his lap.
Yeah.
And Butterwell on his knees, pale faced and shaking. You know, it's like, Jesus, dude, get some balls.
No way. He's scared, man. He is scared. Like they all know that he's already Bloodraven's a sorcerer. So
yeah, that. And it's like you've already been involved in this shit once before.
Yeah,
really. Heard your bleedings, and I believe 1 word in 10. So I will allow you to keep 1/10 of your fortune, and you may keep your wife as well. I wish you joy of her. And then Butterwell asks about white walls, and it's forfeit to the Iron Throne. He's going to pull it down stone by stone, so the ground that it stands upon was salt. In 20 years, no one will remember it existed. And there's still old fools and young malcontents that go to the red grass field, to the spot where Damon the First died. And it's a memorial, pilgrimages. That's the flower. The
flowers and stuff. And
to Bloodraven will not have this become another monument to the Black Dragon.
No.
Now, scurry away, Roach.
Scurry away, Roach.
Kind. The hand is kind. I can just imagine him like going backwards out of the tent. You know?
Yep. Thank you.
Tells Lord Frey he has his leave and they will speak again later. Then he turns to Dunk, and Dunk.
This is adorable.
And Dunk remembered him. They go through.
Yeah, he looks older, blah blah blah. But how he's like, no, my lord, that was Egg. I mean, Egan. I mean, like he just like how he's like he doesn't know what to say, and he's all nervous. I just think it's cute when Dunk is and nervous.
Well, little Walder would be doing that. Iron Bank gold card, etc. Yeah, there you go. So you know, Bloodraven's like, I don't know why Daddy like
that's funny
up with this hedge knight to
yeah, I love that.
Out with
yeah,
but I cannot imagine it included delivering him to a castle full of traitors plotting rebellion. And why is it that I find my cousin in this nest of adders? This is instead of Lord Butterball, it's Butterbutt. So
I know, which is even better. If I would have read the whole story, I would have called him Butterbutt the whole time, but such is life. And hey, Steely, my sweet, did you notice a nest of adders? That's her Celtic spirit animal. So that, like, I noticed that.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's cool. Mine was what? Box.
You're a bear.
Box and hawk. Was that one?
Yeah.
Tiger in the Chinese zodiac. Anyway, so yeah. Where were we again?
So then, so basically he's like, I love that answer. So, it's not either. We sort of blundered into it because he's like, basically he's like, so like, what are you doing? Like, so my cousin tells me that you came here, you figured out this conspiracy, you're going to take it all down yourself. And he's like, well, not really. And he's like, well, kind of, and so basically he's just bumbling. He's like, but he doesn't lie, so that's awesome. Like Egg has kind of stretched the truth a little bit here, kind of still with the same story, but he's like, well,
not with Blood Raven, but
huge with Butterball, but with Blood Raven, he's like, well, then he kind of stands up and Egg crossed his arms and said, and Sir Duncan and I had all matters well in hand before you turned up with your army. And and Dunk's like, no, we had some help, my lord. And he's like, hedge knights. Yeah. And this is like, like the bane of my existence. Like at this point, he's just like, seriously.
Yes.
And then
heard the tale about Glendon, Glendon Ball, and it was him that unhorsed the pretender. Heard that tale from 100 lips, the bastard of the Pussy Willows. Born of a whore.
When do you think
and then Egg is like, no, he's born of heroes. If he's amongst the captives, I want him found and released and rewarded. Damn it.
Still like feeling his dragon. Still got his little scales on, flapping those wings. But I was just like, so when did our little Eggy make the switch and decide that is it because of his mentor that he's fine with bastard blood?
I guess so. I mean,
it was like kind of like, that's kind of cool because that is a total 180 from Egg at the beginning of our story till now.
Yes, it is.
He's born of heroes. Like, well,
right.
Wow. I I thought that was cool.
Yeah, he's being fair to this kid, no matter who his daddy was or anything like that. To Glendon Ball, because he feels like he is a hero because he stood up to these guys in his own way or whatever. Butterball, that was funny.
and then of course after he says that, then Blood Raven's like,
bossy,
and who are you to tell the king's hand like what to do? And he's like, you know who I am. I was like, oh man, this little boy is like, it's like,
I rank higher than you, by the way.
Basically, that's exactly what he's saying.
Yeah, and, so then Blood Raven goes into why John had the dreams. Well, first he tells Dunk you ought to beat the insolence out of your squire, and he's like, he's a prince though. Like, what?
Yeah, I've tried, my lord, but he's a prince though, and he's like, what is he?
What he is a
dragon. Yep. Rise, sir.
Yeah. Have always been Targaryens who dreamed of things to come, so we should not be surprised from time to time. Blackfyre displays the gift as well. Daemon dreamed that a dragon would be born at White Walls, and it was. The fool just got the color wrong. What worries you? So are you talking about Egg in the... Wait. Okay, I hit Maud Mary. Cece was saying that worries her. So I'm pretty sure she's talking about Aegon in the future. And Dunk notices that Egg is wearing his father's ring. It's not stuffed up inside his boot. And Blood Raven says he has half a mind to take him back to King's Landing and keep him at court as his guest. And he's like, well, my daddy isn't going to like that. He says, yeah, I suppose not. Prince Maker has a prickly nature. Maybe I should just send your butt to Summerhall. And he says, no, my place is with Sir Duncan. I am his squire. 7 save you both. As you wish, you're free to go. And then Egg's like, yeah, we will, but first, we need some gold.
I love this kid, man. I put on my side Cheeky Boo. Cheeky Boo. He's all sassy. But before we do, not only do I want Sir Glendon rewarded, we need some money to pay off.
And Dunk's like, I'll pay it back. It's just a loan.
He's like, yeah, I know. He's like, it's just a loan, just a loan. And he's like, within reason. Like, it's just like, oh. Like you see him like dragging old Maester out their mule with like buckets of gold on him.
What we need to do, like, even if we do other stuff a night for Harry Potter, because we got a lot of Harry Potter lovers.
We do.
We
do. You know what?
If y'all are up for a couple, like
and we love Harry Potter as well. So
yes.
I totally give 10 points to Gryffindor as well.
Well, I'm a Slytherin, not by choice. It's just what like I haven't taken that
Slytherin. She's a Slytherin. Don't doubt it one. Don't doubt it one moment. So here's his little thing. So they're so that was cool. So he got some money, and basically Bloodraven's like, oh my gosh, get out of here. Like, seriously, go. And and he's like, I'll pay it back. And he's just like, what? Okay, now this was the most sarcastic thing that I heard him say, because remember, we're trying to like, I'm trying to connect the two. So like, even though he doesn't say it too sarcastically, but sarcastic, when you learn to joust, no doubt. Oh, burn, man, that was kind of a little harsh there, One Eye, right? Woo. Okay. He's just like, my lord.
Yeah.
Okay. Good one. Yeah, like, I'll practice. Like, I mean, Doug just wants to get out of there, and there he is talking with this cute little squire. So adorable.
I love him standing there like that. So Dunk is wanting to know what's going to happen to the fiddler.
Yeah, because so basically they can't just go off though. Like like you would think that at this point, if I was Dunk, I'd be like, yeah, okay, and I'll try to pay you back.
Yeah,
let's go. But no, our hero, what does he do? Go ahead, Carrie. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, you're just as much part of this as me. It's fine. I was just saying, he says, Bloodraven says it's for Eris to decide, but Daemon has 4 younger brothers and sisters as well. So if he should be so foolish as to remove his pretty little head, not only are people going to call him a kinslayer, and it's going to turn him into another martyr like his father. It will make it where Haegon cannot be. Bitter still will. Wait a minute. Sorry. Blah, 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 blah. His mother will mourn if I'm so foolish to remove his pretty head. Bittersteel will crown his brother Haegon. So that's Bittersteel's brother. I'm getting that confused. They're Daemon's son, but I think he's Bittersteel.
It's another cousin that they'll just not the oldest. That's what I think. Anyways, I think yeah.
He can hardly make a 3rd Blackfyre king whilst the 2nd one remains so inconveniently alive. And he'll be an ornament to our court and a living testament to the mercy and benevolence of his grace King Eris. And then Egg has a question too. I forgot about this part. I began to understand why your daddy was so willing to be rid of you. It's about the dragon's egg. That's right. Okay. Regards at the door. No way anyone could have gotten into Butterwell's bedchamber. And Lord River smiled. Were I to guess, I'd say someone climbed up inside the privy shaft, and they talked a little bit, and Egg's like, for a man, a child, or Bloodravens, I'd have to look at it. I'm sorry, you guys. But Dunk figures it out, and he's like, a dwarf that he could have.
Yeah, that's
1,000 eyes in one. Why shouldn't some of them belong to a troop of comic dwarfs?
Yes. A privy that was too small to climb for a man. A child could do it, and then ding, the light bulb goes on for our hero, or a dwarf. Which then I was going back to that with our stinky little dwarf.
He's got the egg in that bag. I know
smells worse than a privy.
Or maybe it's in the chest, but it just looks like they're carrying.
Either way, it's suspect.
Yeah, that smells like the privy, because that's the one Dunk is kind of staring at. So,
and then,
oh wow, you guys,
that was so awesome! Thank you. This was so much fun.
Well, I'm gonna read the little part, the end.
Okay, cool.
The beginning. More travels and more travails await our hedge knight and his squire in the years to come. From Dorne to the Wall, their journeys will carry them across the length and breadth of the 7 kingdoms, and even beyond the narrow sea to the disputed lands and the shining cities of Essos. Along the way, they will cross paths with lords and knights and sorcerers and many a fair maid and noble lady to write their names into the annals of Westeros, never to be forgotten. But those are tales for another time. Keep reading, George R.R. Martin.
Thank you, George.
What time? Like, tales for which time? Come on, I'm ready for him.
I know. Well, we know that he's not our most timely fellow. And then it also talks about the illustrator too, Gary Gianni, an illustrator, illustrated several of George R.R. Martin's works, as well as other authors ranging from Jules Verne, H.P. Lovecraft, to Ray Bradbury and
Ray Bradbury wrote where the
he's a comic book artist as well, and he's drawn Batman, Indiana Jones, Hellboy, The Shadow, and Monster Men. He also worked on the Syndicate comic strip Prince Valiant from 2003 to 2012. Man, that comic has been around forever.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. This has been a
super
lot of
fun. And so we were talking about doing, I don't know if you guys want to do a theory next week or questions next week. We were talking about a quiz. Like we were talking about doing those two things.
We'll do one or the other. And I do have a standing ovation. Y'all are very sweet. And you don't know how much it means to me.
Yes. Thank you, friends. This has been so fun.
Yeah. It's just a fun thing for us to do. And we'll be talking about fun stuff and other books and all of that. And Lori,
that's part of my theory, Miss Maud Mary. Yeah, I think Blood Raven did put it all together.
Yes,
because like
Baelish, Peter Baelish did for reminds me, and they wrote that too. But what he did with the dwarfs at Joffrey's wedding, because he planned all of that stuff.
Oh, okay. Peter did. So that would be very interesting. And Maynard, I think, is the one which I have to re-look that up and do better research. But he was the one talking about the entertainment. Like, ooh. Or no, I'm sorry. Was that John the Fiddler? Because I was curious. Like, was he in on stealing the egg? I mean, of course, he doesn't know he's going to get arrested. So I don't know. Yeah. It's just very curious. Whoever hired those dwarfs, but I didn't know why everybody knew what the entertainment was before they got there. So there's a few people. A lot of people kind of know what's going on, and
yeah, it was really good. So I think a quiz would be fun. Hold on one second, you guys. I'll show you kind of a couple of things. Of course, I have tons of T-shirts and posters and stuff, but I don't know if y'all want something used, so
right.
I'm not going to throw that at you. But,
oh no! Hopefully everything is okay. It looked like it survived.
That just happened.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
It's just an incident.
Are you
clean it up?
Are you still online?
Yeah, still online.
Wait, you're still going?
Robert. Sorry, my husband's in here, guys. I had a mini catastrophe.
That's all right.
There's so much stuff in here.
So you guys enjoyed the show, the book. Thank you for coming.
You're still alive. I have some. Those were something given away.
Ooh.
I have a journal with the different houses on it.
She's got
I'm okay, Lori. The lamp got tangled in the phone cord, and then it knocked over my cup of tea, so I have a lot of cleaning to do when this is over. And then I do have a little Hodor doorstop.
Okay, that is the most ingenious thing I've ever seen. I love it. Hold the door.
Maybe we could do
door.
second place, third place.
I love it.
Something like that. But
Hold door, doorstop. I think that's so clever. So
yeah,
awesome.
and there's some Targaryen socks, but I'm keeping those guys.
They're awesome.
So thank you guys so much, and I'm
yeah,
sorry
thank you.
that just happening, but I'm gonna have to clean a bunch of sweet tea up.
No, not
electronics and all that.
Is it Milo's?
Of course, it's Milo's.
Of course, it's Milo's.
What other sweet tea is there?
I know. I'm gonna know all the Alabama tricks before I get there.
It's just in Birmingham, but Milo's sweet tea is probably the best sweet tea I've ever had, and I had a big cup sitting here, and it was just a big mess. So sorry about that. Y'all got a little entertainment, I guess.
I'm sorry. Well, then shall we say good night, and
but
we'll see you guys next week, same bat time, same bat channel, and we'll either be doing some quiz or talking some theory. So please join us. And thank you so much, Carrie, for being the hostess with the mostest.
Thank
and
you.
I am loving this, and this was an awesome. She got me this book. She sent it to me. It was a gift. So
like, we're doing the stream, so here you go. And yes, good night to everyone.
Yes, thank you.
You're right, Lori. That was ending with a bang.
With a splash.
Okay, guys, I love everyone.
Rock on, Shaka Khan.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, we'll see you soon. Next week.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Love everyone.